Hi, this is John Perkins.
Hi, I'm Craig Bell. We have a question to consider today. Do your prayers match your wants, or do they match God's will? We'll talk about that on Take Five.
Food for the soul, helping you to thrive. 5 minutes to renew your mind. Take five.
So, John, how often do we mean what we really pray?
I was thinking the other day, Craig, I was praying about something and I got done praying. I was wondering, was that my will that I was praying for, or was it God's will? I think sometimes we have to be careful that we are not praying our prayers for our will be done, but we praying as the Lord Savior Jesus Christ's will be done.
So you're saying that sometimes we'll go to prayer and we'll pray something that sounds really good, but yet we don't really mean it. What we really mean is, God, do what I want.
Give me the things I'm asking for.
Right. Not what you want, God, but what I want is really what I'm praying for.
I think we need to remember in Isaiah it says that his ways are higher than our ways and his thoughts higher than our thoughts. I think sometimes we're so involved in the things that we want, the things that we need, the things that we think we have to have, that we forget that God has a plan out there that's bigger and better than ours.
Yeah. Sometimes it seems like we're more interested in saying the right things in the prayer, sounding good, and maybe bringing God our wish list and hoping he answers it. And when he doesn't, God's not good anymore, because somehow we feel like if he was good, he would have answered our prayer the way we wanted it prayed, right?
Exactly, Brother Craig. And in Matthew chapter number 6 and verse 9, Jesus is teaching his disciples here how to pray. He said, after this manner, therefore pray ye, our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. So he's asking us or telling us to pray that God's will be done, not our will be done.
And that's interesting that that's a daily prayer he taught us to pray, day by day. Because he starts out by saying, give us our daily bread. So every day we're to be praying that God's will be done over our will. Because I think sometimes that we have to reset that in our lives, because our default is to pray, my will be done.
And I think we can pray what we have on our hearts. The Bible said, you receive not because you ask not. I think we can ask for the things that we need, but the bottom line is we need to pray that God's will be done. Remember when Jesus went up to the garden to pray, and he began to pray so hard that his sweat fell as great drops of blood. And he started out his prayer, Lord, if it's possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, thy will be done, not mine.
Right, and the word nevertheless means in spite of. So in other words, what I prayed, in spite of what I just said, your will be done instead.
Exactly.
John, sometimes at Christmas, the kids will give us their Christmas lists. And if they don't get what's on the list, they feel like Christmas was a flop. They get socks, which is what they really needed. But the toy they didn't get, then, they're disappointed. We never outgrow that, do we? We're still that way with God.
No, someone called the other day for a job quote to fix their fence. And he kept saying, no hurry, no hurry. About 3 days later, he was calling, and did you forget about us? He wasn't in a hurry, is what he said, but what he meant is hurry up and do my job.
Yeah. Sometimes, John, it seems like we get more concerned with the outward sound of our prayers, because it sounds good to pray. Lord, your will be done. We know that's the right thing to pray, but we're not really inwardly fixed on that, Reminds me of a story I was reading, John, about the Queen Mary. That was the largest ship that was ever to cross the ocean when it was launched in 1936. Through 4 decades and a world war, she was serving until she retired, and then they anchored her as a floating motel and museum in Long Beach, California. But during her conversion, they took her 3 massive smokestacks off and to be scraped down, and repainted, and they put them on the pier. And when they did, they all crumbled. They found that there was nothing left of the 3/4-inch steel plates that the stacks had been made of, except for the only thing holding it together was 30 coats of paint that had been applied over the years.
Oh.
All the steel had rusted away. Don't you think, John, that's what Jesus meant when he said to the Pharisees, you're whitewashed tombs. You look good on the outside, but inside there's no substance. Your prayers sound good, but you don't really mean what you prayed.
Exactly.
John, this is the fastest 5 minutes ever because we're out of time. But let's leave our listeners with this. Romans chapter 8, verse 26 through 28. It says, likewise, the Spirit also helpeth our infirmities. For we know not what we should pray for as we ought, but the Spirit itself maketh intercession for us with groanings which cannot be uttered. And he that searcheth the hearts knoweth what is in the mind of the Spirit, because he maketh intercession for the saints according to the will of God. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose.